Hello, good morning. It's Monday morning. I'm not going to do the intro because I can't be bothered. So, here's a picture of me in better times. I don't know when this was, 21, 22. Any rate, I'm going to bring Gerty back because I miss her. I've come on here because I said I was going to do a live, but I can't be bothered to do a live because I'm just so busy today. I've got so much to do. A lot of controversy going on, as per usual. There's creatures out there with no talent at all. Others that pretend they've got many talents but actually haven't got any. And hide behind loads of hooky qualifications, saying that they are up there in the professional echelons, let's say that. Because the type of qualifications they pretend to have are like what Jordan Peterson is, or Dr. Ramani, or Todd Grandy, people like that. Or even, what's that other one, the narcissist guy, not H.G. Tudor, the other one, Dr. Vakim, that one. Yeah, they really are the real deal. Whereas these people, now, I don't know who Ren is. She is a prolific Twitter troll, but across social media platforms, she seems to have varying thumbnails of varying looking women. I could say her name, but she seems to have lots of names. She seems to be... Hang on a minute, I've lost me picky. Let's go back to me picky. Come on. Oh, she's not going back. It's not going back. Come on, picky, go back. No, it's not going to do it for me. Hang on, just 1 minute. 1 minute. We'll get there in a minute. We'll get there. Come on. Oh, well, we're not going to get there. Anyway, shall I just carry on? I think I will. So, anyway, yes, she seems to be half a dozen different people. I know X amount of people that have paid good lucre to trace her. I know loads of people that in Canada and across North America have tried to trace her as well. And she seems to be one of quite a few people. So, it's difficult. And she's aligned with somebody else. They pretend to fall out with one another every now and again on X. From what I can gather, I don't go on there anymore. If I do, I use my X account as a mood board. If someone's nacked me off, I might go and have a quick slanging match on there. Put my thoughts. But basically, a lot of the time, I can't be bothered. I really cannot be bothered. It is like, well, trying to reason with lunatics. And also, recalcitrant teenagers that no matter what you do or say, they're always right. They're like that. It's like they're stuck in emotionally that age range. So they can't adult. Anybody that can post a picture of a partially clad child and think that is somehow okay to do that. Now, for context, the person that did this poses as a psychotherapist across a few platforms. Admittedly, she's removed that bit because I kept calling her out on it because she basically isn't that. And, if you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. And I've received from across the known world, and it's usually from what I would describe as vulnerable women of a particular age or a varying age range. And it's like she cherry picks the most vulnerable, and then sends them contracts and takes money for giving them this therapy that she's not qualified to give. I mean, anyone could call themselves a counsellor. I could do that. I mean, I could counsel somebody for free. It's basically saying, oh, you poor thing, do you want a cup of tea? But when you're mocking up your qualifications and setting yourself up and then financially having remunerations for these skills, that is in fact fraud. And I know a number of people have actually reported her for it. So, not that she's ever... I haven't, because she's never given me therapy, thank God. When I see... she's come out publicly and says that she likes cyberbullying people on X because it's a release from having to be nice all the time. Well, I mean, you're not nice any of the time, love. But I can't work out... Now, people have said to me that this person and this Ren, that apparently is in Canada, are the same person. She doesn't come across as Canadian because I've got a number of subs from all over the world, and you can tell when they're from Australia, especially if they're American. Definitely if they're American, you can always tell. New Zealand and Australia, again, a bit you can tell. But Canada, again, is a Commonwealth country. Yeah, you can kind of tell because they use phrases that aren't uniquely British, just like British people use phrases that aren't uniquely Canadian. So I never have got a Canadian vibe off of this account. I've always just got a British vibe. In fact, I've always got a vibe of somebody that lives about 15 minutes drive away from me. So, but I could be wrong. And do you know what, YouTube people? I don't care if I am. I literally do not care if I am. I'm so over all these people. They have been chasing Tricky around social media for years now and getting absolutely nowhere. Nowhere. And it's like I've worked out, I don't think they want to get anywhere. I just think they like sitting there because they have no discernible talents. So they just like sitting there slagging everybody off. I've already said a million times that I was wrong to jump in and defend somebody or a family going through cancer. But I don't really think I was. Okay, maybe not in retrospect, but anybody going through cancer doesn't deserve to be cyber-stalked and bullied. Yes, I've now seen that the people weren't as white because I've been shown sock accounts and what they were posting under sock accounts whilst languishing and themselves posing as vulnerable people. And it is a moot point. They kind of were vulnerable. I'm surprised they didn't just concentrate on the job in hand, which wasn't really running sock accounts and posting. You know, you've got people on one side and people on the other side, and you could put a fact paper between them. You really could. You can't discern who's right and who's wrong in this situation because they're all as bad as one another. This is my considered opinion after, well, yeah, a year and 3 months. A year and 3 months. So what's that, 15 months. 24/7, 7 days a week. 15 months I've had this. And I've had an upward trajectory learning curve. And sort of, I'm not very technically minded, but psychology is my thing. Much more so than people that posture as people that are into psychology. Politics, history, psychology, sociology, theology, any of those ologies are my thing. Okay, so I've vibed them. You can believe me or don't believe me, I really don't care. And I cannot pin down who this particular Ren posturing person is. She seems to be, as I say, half a dozen different people, and she also seems to be none of those people. So whether somebody's nicked her identity, which again does seem to be a theme, and then because the qualifications that Ren had and the qualifications that this other big reveal person had, I won't, because I'm not a bitch, mention her YouTube handle, but on X she's the big reveal, and they both had exactly the same qualifications, basically at exactly the same time. When one was a behaviour analyst, the other one was a behaviour analyst. When one was a lifestyle coach, the other one was a lifestyle coach. So I did begin to wonder, are they the same person? I'm allowed to wonder that because I've got freedom of thought and speech. Okay? Now, whoever she is has been making some banging videos which have really helped me because obviously I'm getting my case together for my upcoming, my starring role, darlings, you know. It's going to be splendid. Yeah, my Citizen Kane moment. Hopefully, when it comes, because I've got like everything all ready to go. I'm just waiting for the summons, literally. And I'm getting a bit annoyed now, Tricky. Still no summons. You're playing hard to get. Hurry up and send it. Now, this Red character, whoever she is, whether she is the big reveal really, or an actual different person, I'm past caring. But the work she's been doing has been brilliant. Now, I can't use her videos per se in my court case because they're second-hand. So, in other words, they're a compilation of videos that she's taken clips from and then made a reaction video, perfectly legal reaction video, perfectly under terms and guidelines. But whenever I watch her videos, I think, that's a brilliant point. And then I can get, say, a friend of mine or somebody or half a dozen different people that are helping me, actually, and say, can you lift the original? Can you go through the videos and find the original? Because obviously for a court case, I need the original of Tricky speaking, not a reaction video. So she has been an immense help, and I will thank her for that. But then I made that mea culpa the other day and said about how I didn't dox people, blah, blah, blah. Well, I didn't dox people. Putting somebody's car up on there, I was sent a picture of a car by somebody who actually came from America. And they said, here, Gert, chuck that up there and see if you get a reaction, which I did. And I did get a reaction. So then I could marry up, because only I knew who that car belonged to. It's a bit like Sabiva, yeah? When I first did Sabiva, I had people in my comments saying, I've unsubbed to you, that was the worst impression of Harry I've ever seen. It was Sabiva that sat there going, that's me she's doing, that's me she's doing. So when this car went up, no number plate, just a car. It's a Google image, actually. And, yeah, she sat there going, oh, she's doxed me. She's doxed me, she's doxed me. Yeah, like, what the hell have you done to me? You, all of you, through my email, now I understand that I shouldn't have used an email with a derivation of my own bloody real name. Of course I know that. I haven't changed it because my name's out there now, it doesn't matter. But because there is an app you can put an email through and it'll give you the person's real name, basically. Which is really weird because I didn't make that email. Somebody else made it for me, but there you go. Still came up, obviously, with my real name. Once they had my real name, they could go on social media and they found my late husband's Facebook memorial account. This was back last April. Splashed him all over X, right? Mocked him, mocked his looks, mocked this, mocked that, then the other. I've had everything possible done to me to degrade me, to dehumanise me, and my family, right? And to demean me, to humiliate me. The men have all, I can't say any of them have apologised, and I haven't really gone, oh, I'm really sorry for what I've done to you either. What we've done is we've moved on because the men are adults. But you see, these particular women don't appear to be. They really thrive on the drama. And while it's not happening on X anymore, they've migrated now back on here. They've tagged along Malison, who Truth Central did a video about. Pop over to Truth Central. She did quite a good video. And Malison, despite her surname being the end part of Old Mother Riley, who is a very, very, very well-known surname, put in a copyright strike for privacy. So I'd already christened her Malison. And Malison has got a large history that she never tells people about, right, of not only cyber stalking but bullying in real life as well, and being a right biatch, if you get me, in my opinion. This is in my opinion. When you read what she's done, and she had an actual victim from her neighbourhood that had an account on there called, you know, what would you say, showcasing what dear Malison is capable of. And dear Malison is pensionable age. And what she did to this young girl and this young girl's family, she was quite a vulnerable young girl, is reprehensibly vile, and I'm entitled to that opinion. That is my opinion. But they migrate over here and go, oh, they've done this to me. I once made a quip, because shit posting is one thing. I never tagged people in. When you tag people in, it then becomes, it can be malicious communications, and that is a criminal offence under the Online Harms Act Bill 2023. I think it was amended in February 24, I think, or November, something like that. Anyway, so if you tag people in, that then becomes malicious communications, especially if the other person, because immediately you tag them in, that person will get to see it, and you tagging them in shows intent that you wanted them to see it, so then it becomes malicious. But shitposting is another thing, and that's all I had in my armoury. That's all I could do was put up memes taking the piss. After all, I purport to be, right, I like to think I am somewhat of an amateur comedian, okay? So, whilst I was thrashing around like a fish on the riverbank, not knowing what the hell I was involved with, okay, I was also heartbroken at what they were doing to my family, what was being said. Eventually I had my whole house was put up there immediately, you know, my whole house picture. It was a Google picture originally, or it was several Google pictures, and then there was one that the police weren't certain that the person hadn't actually taken it, because it looked like it had been taken rather than a Google search. So I had the police out X amount of times. They even found out where my child goes to Scouts and put his Scout hut up there. That is how vile they are. And these are women. These are women. These weren't the men. They were tagging in the men, But the men, I noticed, were saying, can you stop tagging me in? I don't want to be involved with what you're doing. Can you stop? Right? And kind of they moved on and did their own thing. You know what men are like, concentrate for about 3 minutes. And at any rate, these men are what you'd call men, and they don't like getting involved with women's bitchiness, you know. So there was that, unlike somebody else that thrives on having a little coterie of women and being in the middle of a right load of, shall I say, witches. Am I allowed to say that? Something like that. Anyway, that thrive on others' discomfort. I said I was going to put this straight. I did a perfectly legal reaction video to somebody last year who now I realise they were the victim, not the perpetrator. But because I couldn't see the wood for the trees, all I saw was somebody going through what I'd just been through. And as I keep saying, I kind of projected my suffering. Instead of dealing with my own suffering, I projected it onto other people and rushed in like a white knight to sort of protect them and save them. And, oh, yeah, I'm a dick. I've said I'm a dick. How many more times do I have to say I'm a dick? But the one thing I've never turned away from, right, and would never, I just couldn't live with myself if I did, is anybody hurting children and anybody abusing vulnerable people. And of course I saw a family going through cancer as a vulnerable person, because I was vulnerable when we were going through it. Obviously I weren't being cyber-stalked or nothing. It was bad enough without being cyber-stalked, was my opinion. So I did a perfectly legal reaction video. Anyway, one thing led to another. Everybody took sides and I ended up losing my channel. Eventually I got it back. This, that and the bleeding other. I was then sent by one of the men had been talked into trying to get me criminalised for an account on X called Absolutely Atrocious. Now, I knew I wasn't that account. I knew, obviously I know, do you know what I mean? It goes without saying, I know what I'm doing, I know who I am. So I knew it wasn't me, but I was asked to go into Sussex Police, right, to be interviewed under caution. So that basically means if I didn't go, they'd have arrested me. So off I popped down there. They read me my riot act, all that sort of stuff, and then asked me the questions, and I couldn't, obviously I had my solicitor with me, I couldn't really put any meat on the bone because I didn't know, and I honestly, genuinely didn't know who Absolutely Atrocious was. If I had done, believe you me, I would have told the police, because I'm not taking the shit for somebody else, okay? But I didn't know. Now, the funny thing was, I was talking to the police on a number of occasions and talking about my poor friends that were going through cancer, blah, 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 and everything that these horrible trolls, trolls is a euphemism, they're cyber terrorists, had terrorised this family, blah, blah, blah. And like, you know, like when you talk to people, especially like men, or even women, people that have got something to say but don't want to say it, it's that vibe. I always got that feeling from them, but I couldn't put my finger on it. So I doubled down on my efforts to say, yeah, well, they're like this, and this is happening to them, and that's happening to them. And it was always like, they wanted to say something, but couldn't. There was a slight sneer, or I don't know, something weird. Obviously now, looking back, in retrospect, because I know who Absolutely Atrocious channel was owned by and run by, yeah, the penny dropped, and I thought, oh, that is why the police always look so bloody. They always look like either I was mental or they pitied me, or something along those lines. And I could never put my finger on it. Why? Because I couldn't see that people I thought were my friends, who I was defending, could actually possibly sell me down the river. But that's another story that I've already said I can't say too much about at the moment, because, yeah, that's an ongoing slow-mo situation. So, but as I say, I found out who Absolutely Atrocious is, and the account has since been deleted due to my efforts. And the account was vilely reprehensible and very, very upsetting for people that have been through child abuse and domestic violence. It was a very, very sick, twisted trick to pull, right? Not only on the victim, because there was a particular victim that the account was aimed at, yeah, but on women that were genuinely reaching out to who they perceived to be this poor victim. It was aimed at a particular man, okay, and the account was blaming this particular man pretending to be a victim of DV and SA, okay? It was harrowing to read. It was really harrowing to read. And a number of women reached out to this purported account holder and said, you know, I just want to give you a hug. Is there anything I can do? You know, I'd love to support you. If you ever want anybody to talk to, blah, blah, blah. And no one could really understand why this so-called victim account holder ever got back to us. Never got back to us. Well, of course, now, a year on, I found out. And I didn't find out by somebody snitching. I found out by pure chance. Just absolute chance. Just I was in the wrong place at the wrong moment, or the right place at the right moment, and I found out. And I was like, I beg your pardon. What did you say? And the person repeated it. I spent days walking around like I'd been punched in the face. I couldn't sleep. I still managed to eat, so don't fret about that. But yeah, I felt absolutely destroyed, mugged off, used, abused, and yeah, it's just unbelievable. I'd like to move on and carry on to my comedy. I'm reticent really to carry on YouTube because it's kind of, I don't know, it's boring. And if I go to court, when I go to court, it's probably not a good idea for me to keep posting on YouTube. Or is it? I mean, give me your answer, what you think. But I don't know what I'm going to do at the moment. I feel like it's not worth it because no matter what I do, I get pursued by these women. Okay? Either they are Ren or there's somebody pretending to be somebody called Ren and I know who that person is. So there's a number of things going on. But nothing is as it seems. And I was one person. Because when I look back on it now, I realise that the people around me weren't helping me. They weren't supporting me. I was supporting them. But they weren't going out of their way to help me and support me. And have my back in the way that I have their back. Right? I was left all alone to cope with it. So I was one at the time, how old was I? 61? 60, 61, something like that. Trying to deal with this that I've never even known anything like it in my life. Like in my day, which was basically the 80s when I was a young woman, none of this would have ever happened. Obviously, we didn't have this technology. If you had a beef with somebody, you rocked up round their house and knocked on the door. You didn't trouble the police with it. You'd sort it out yourselves. You might have a Barney in the street, you might have a fight in the street, you might end up shaking hands and having a cup of tea, but you thrash it out. You wouldn't do all this cloak and dagger nasty stuff. You definitely wouldn't bring children into it, and you definitely wouldn't bring people's dead relations into it, and you definitely wouldn't bring the wider family of your opponent into it. So with me, I was totally a fish out of water. I had no idea. Because no matter how low somebody goes, when you get there, you will find this particular person, or these two particular women, if indeed they are two particular women. I tend to believe they're one woman, but I'm entitled to believe that. And as I say, done some good videos that have led me to be able to go off and find the originals ready for my court case, which is really helpful. But this constant, I did this and I did that and I did the other. How about some context to what you lot did to me first, right? When you all realised I was easy meat, I literally was easy meat, and they predated on me all day, every day, all day, every day. Often I choose not to look, but a lot of people would send me stuff, and again, I could choose not to look. Sometimes I would say to people, I'd rather not look, can you give me the context of what they're saying? So I would then go on and I might shitpost this or do a meme about that or shitpost. That is the level of my ability. I'm not more technical than that. That is all I had, my only weaponry and my comedy. So yeah, I did some parodies and mocked them, took the piss out of them. The hell do they expect me to do? I happen to know, right, the children of all of these people. Have I ever once put or even mentioned people's children? Ever. Never once. I know their names, I know their ages, all of them, and the men. Right? So why is this? Oh, it's okay. This is completely okay to do. You, like I say, she got into a locked Instagram account, and there was dozens and dozens and dozens of photographs on there, right? She chose, of my minor child, by the way, which was why it was locked, and she chose, or what I thought was locked, obviously it bloody wasn't, because she got in there, but she chose out of all the pictures to pick one of him partially clad, opening his, you know, like they run down on their birthday, and they might only have their boxer shorts, or their pyjama, you know, like little boys wear pyjama boxers, don't they? Right. He's rushed down, he's opening his presents, blah, 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 7th birthday. She pinched that one, stuck it on X, right? Seeing my child on X. And I've got the post, right, with her username. And I've also got all the posts where she says her real name with her username on X. So it's the big right, and a picture of my partially clad child. And I'm supposed to just what? Just take it? She lives 15 minutes away. She's lucky. I'm very, very lucky. I'm not 20 years younger. I'll tell you that for nothing. She's very lucky. She never gets what she deserves. When she was knocking about with Tricky, those two deserved each other, and they've turned on each other. And I see that a lot of the people that are on there pulling him down, quite rightly, because he's nefarious, yeah, they've had dealings with him of some sort. Now, I obviously wasn't on a Zoom call. Neither was I in a bedroom at any time with these two people. So, I don't know, but I know what I've heard. And it is kind of like a woman scorned, is my opinion. And I'm entitled to have that opinion. But there again, there's so many other people that are men and they're not women scorned. So, I could be wrong. Loads of veterans, so many men that are really hurt of things that have been done to them by the Suffolk, you know who I'm referring. If you know, you know. That he has got quite a few things to answer to. I see the way he behaved the other day. Somebody sent me the live. Well, I did a thing about it, didn't I? That yeah, that is just vile, just a vile, nasty little man. And of course, that does elicit a response. And then when you put in the accusations, he sat there and he said he was in military jail in excess of 10 times. This, that and the other, and you research him, there's so much. And none of it that good. He does quite a good, PR stunt on himself to try and superficially, to the public, make himself look like a decent person. But behind that is, not very nice. So, and I know a lot more, a hell of a lot more, than what I could possibly say in public. Yeah, so there's that. And I don't know what else to say. I mean, I've mea culpa'd enough. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to thrash myself and walk over hot coals? Will that mean that you will... I don't want you to forgive me. I don't want you to apologise. I'm not going to apologise to you. But can you go about your business and leave me alone? Because over here, I'm involved in several really important projects. And let's have it right, you lot have been sat over there for years and you've done nothing. Apart from go, oh, look at him doing this, look at him doing that. You ain't done shit. Okay? And when it comes to standing up for vulnerable people or even defending minor human beings, haven't seen a lot of that from you guys either. I've seen a lot of you victimising minor human beings. Because, as I say, there isn't any low you won't go to. They literally are like a pack of wolves, and they try to out-evil each other. Oh, well, you've shown a picture of that, I'll show a picture of this, I'll do this and I'll do that. Just vile people, just really vile people. And it's a shame because they must have some sort of talents beyond that, surely. Or is it just me? It's hard to tell, isn't it, really? So, anyway, yeah, I think I've said enough. And I'll probably buzz off now. But, yeah, shall I carry on? Leave me in the comments. Do you want to see me doing more parodies on YouTube, or shall I piss off permanently to TikTok? Because that's where I feel like going, because there's a lot more comedy on TikTok. And TikTok don't have any of this BS. They would take a video down as soon as look at you if you report a video. Yeah, they will not have all this, he said, she said, they had this, that and the other, right? And all the little clicks And as I say, go and check out Malison, because Malison is far, far, far from a victim of anybody apart from herself. A lot of these people, they don't like getting about it. If you think I was one old woman and they're still going on about it a year later, right, when all of them are professional cyber terrorists and they've been doing it for years and years and years, I'm actually quite proud of myself that I ruffled their feathers so much that they can't, like, move on. They're like, oh, she did this, she said that. Oh, dear, she said this, she said that. They don't like a little bit of their own medicine. Yeah, and I had standards. I wouldn't have done to them what they did to me. Yeah, and I could have done. But I wouldn't go that low, because that debases me. On the way to try to debase them, which is, if you flip, it debases her. When she had, if she wanted to be a bitch, she could have posted a picture of me looking like a banana that was stuck on Instagram. You know, I don't know whether I've got any on there. I must have, because I think it was my late husband's account. So, no, but why choose a picture of a partially clad child when you could have chosen any picture? You could have chosen a dozen pictures of him with all his clothes on, but she picked that one. To me, that's kind of cyber terrorism bordering on another word that I'm hesitant to use, because people will say, well, I've got no evidence, but I've got the evidence of this picture. If any of you want to email me, I will email you the picture privately, but I'm obviously, and I'll blot out, you know, my child's face, but yeah, with her actual username on the post. So it's no good her saying she didn't do it, it was her, okay? And so stop going on, oh, this, that, and the other. And the thing is, another thing that makes me think it is this other person that is the big, on X, and also has a YouTube channel, quite a big YouTube channel, because she's conspicuous by her silence. But Ren is very vocal, and Ren seems to fight a hell of a lot for this conspicuous by her silence woman. Let's just leave it there. And then when you read both their posts, they both sound the same. It's hilarious though, because they both, like I've said, their sock accounts have sock accounts, and they either blow smoke up each other, well, themselves really, using their sock accounts, or their sock accounts argue with each other. It's quite mental. And I think if you do spend too long flipping between personalities, you do go off key. You know, you're not going to be normal. All these women are sort of postmenopausal women. They're not like young girls. They all should know better, but choose to behave the way they do. So, I mean, just crack on. So anyway, I'm going to put this up, and please let me know in the comments if you want me to A, piddle off to TikTok, or B, carry on YouTube. But I think it's not going to get, it's going to get worse before it gets better with these people, because they demand attention. And rather than actually all gather together to help one another to get some justice for a number of victims, none of which, I'm not talking about cyberstalkers, I'm talking about wider people that have been victimised by a certain man, yeah, everyone could have gathered together and we could have, as one brain, put this to bed. But so then I wonder, is she deliberately going out to mix up the pot and break everybody up so nobody does have a chance to sort of, we're never going to be BFFs, but work together to get some resolution on what has been an abject, utter failure of the justice system for far, far too long, in my opinion. And that's my opinion. I'm entitled to have that opinion. So, yeah, as I say, history is my thing. And the worst thing any man could ever do was question me on my knowledge of history. So, there we go. Yeah, and especially history of, well, all history. I would travel on foot to see a history of a, I don't know, a house brick, let alone World War II. Or any war, Vietnam War. I'm a bit like Ricky Gervais. I love the soundtrack. Brilliant soundtrack to that war. So, yeah, let's go. Hopefully you all understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah? I don't go out to bully anyone. I was attacked first. and didn't understand what was happening to me. I really did not understand. Why are they getting onto my deceased husband memorial page and plastering him all over it? Why would you do that to somebody that's bereaved? Why would you do that? I mean, have these people been bereaved? It's just madness. And then expect everybody to pay them for counselling therapy. And then bang on about, oh, I'm a lifestyle coach. Well, see the style of your life. Love. Oh dear, but then they have the choice, as I keep saying, they have the choice of putting differences aside and gathering together as one, right, sharing information, moving forward to get some resolution. That's if they want a resolution. If they don't want a resolution, we'll all be able to tell, because they'll just sit here in their YouTube little cyber cell, chucking their poo at the walls, won't they, and any passing people, rather than actually doing something. It's one thing just to keep making reaction videos, showcasing criminality on many levels, in my opinion. But until you actually pick up the phone and start doing something, you haven't really achieved a lot. There you go. So that's what I think. So there we go. Let me know what you think. Please leave your comments. Oh, there's Julianne down there, darling. What are you doing there? Bless. Anyway, love you all, wherever you are in the world. Shall I come back and do a parody later? Because apparently Sabiva won the quiz, the thing. What does it? The poll. The voting poll. I didn't know. Because I went out for the day yesterday. Obviously, it's Sunday, lovely day, blah-de-blee-blah. Post-solstice. And took the boy out. We went swimming. And it was wonderful. We had a wonderful day. A very, very simple day, but a lovely day. And the weather was hot, but not as unbearably hot as the day before, which was just beyond the pale. Yeah, so I went out, and Gin and Skin's dietitian had won the poll. So I automatically, when I came home, I did half a dozen things, got dressed up and did Gin and Skins. And then I had a few people saying, well, that's weird, because Sabiva won the poll. So I flipped through and saw that, yeah, Sabiva won the poll with 61%. You lot are going to get me hung. You really are going to get me. I'm going to be hung anyway. So I might as well be hung for a sheep as a bleeding lamb. Anyway, shall I be back later? Shall I do Sabiva? Let me know, because if I don't do it on YouTube, I'll pop it on TikTok, and you guys can come over there and watch it there. Right, love you and leave you. Bye-bye now.